the strength of the Force and the power of magic. How could you compare two abstract concepts that are indefinite, infinite, and invisible?
I don't know.
But to start, we'll treat all footage like it's real video evidence, make physicists study it to extract hard numbers on their attributes, then have them compete in a challenge of our own design to crown one the most powerful. This is Power Levels. Today we're comparing two ideas that make up the fabric of their fictional universes: the Force from Star Wars and magic from Harry Potter. We'll see which one grants a master of their art the fastest movement, the ability to lift the most weight, and which signature tool can channel the most energy, a lightsaber or a wand. Winner of each challenge gets a point. Most points at the end of all three is crowned our most powerful. Ready? Let's go. To start, we're making Obi-Wan and Voldemort, the fastest Jedi and wizard we could find footage of, race each other around the Mos Espa Circuit pod race track. Let's start our comparison by measuring this shot of Obi-Wan using his Force speed powers from Looney Tunes.
Excuse me?
I mean the Phantom Menace. We can use Liam Neeson's height as a ruler, then see how many Neesons they travel in a given period of time. Fun fact, an Imperial Star Destroyer is 829 Neesons long. Obi's top speed is 26.5 meters per second. As for Magic's top speed, let's look at Voldemort flying past Hogwarts. We can estimate the size of parts of the castle, then time how long it takes old Voldy to fly by, giving him a top speed of 43.4 meters per second. Now that we know their capabilities, we'll use this map of the Boonta Eve track from the book Star Wars Complete Locations to measure out the real track's distance and see how fast they each finish the course. And they're off. Voldemort puts in a lap time of just 12 minutes, with Obi-Wan stumbling behind at 19.5. I guess Anakin's friend was right about pod racing all along.
This is so wizard, Annie.
It is wizard, little boy, because Magic takes this challenge and wins point number 1. For challenge 2, it's time for Yoda to battle Grindelwald in a Do You Even Liftoff. We'll determine their max telekinetic force, then see how long it would take each one to pull a butterbeer into their hand from 50 meters away. The best clip for the Jedi side comes from when Yoda raises Luke's X-Wing out of the Dagobah swamps. An X-Wing is a 10 metric ton spaceship, and Yoda lifts it slowly enough that we'll assume he's exerting just a bit more force than the force of gravity on Dagobah, which, according to Wikipedia, is 1.13 times that of Earth. With this, we can calculate Yoda's max force. His force is force. His force, if you will. For Team Wiz, we'll look at when Percival Graves, spoiler alert, Grindelwald, throws a Ford Model T car at Tina. Figuring out when Grindelwald's hand waves are applying force to the car is a bit hand-wavy. But let's at least assume his magic is responsible for the car's vertical movement. We'll estimate this by looking at how long it takes the car to stop moving in the vertical direction. Gravity pulls on the car as it moves up. Eventually, the car stops and starts falling back down to Earth. Knowing the force of gravity and the time it takes to stop moving up, we can calculate the initial velocity. With the initial velocity in hand, we can calculate the car's change in momentum and hence the max force of his magic. Now that we know the max force of each, we can calculate how long it would take them to yank over a butterbeer from 50 meters. There's a catch though. If they accelerate the beer the entire way to their hand, it'll be going about 11,000 miles per hour by the time it hits them. So the first 25 meters, they'll pull it over, and the second 25, they'll push so it stops right when it hits their thirsty mitts. It'll take Grindelwald and Farrell 32 milliseconds to pull the beer to him at a safe speed, while Yoda, crafty little guy, takes just 28 milliseconds to do the same.
Wizards lose. They did to a Jedi. They have.
And point number 2 goes to the Force. For our final challenge, we're asking what can output more power, a lightsaber or a magic wand? Now, I don't want to get too deep into semantics here because of course a wand is useless without a wizard, while any old janitor can swing a lightsaber. But we'll treat the wizard-wand combo as a singular unit, with the wizard acting similar to the Kyber crystal that powers the lightsaber. Hear that, Ron? You're a human battery. So for the cleanest shot of a lightsaber's raw power, we can use the scene where Qui-Gon tries to mount the blast doors on the space station in Phantom Menace. We'll assume the doors are made of a known material like steel, and see how much energy and time it takes for the saber to melt it. We could also estimate the length and width of his lightsaber and use that to help us estimate the thickness of the blast doors. Making the case for magic wands, let's use the duel between Dumbledore wielding the Elder Wand and Voldemort in Order of the Phoenix. Early in the scene, we see them both shoot powerful blasts from their wands, meeting halfway between the two. A bright sphere appears where the magic energy meets. We'll assume this is a high-temperature plasma and that it's in thermodynamic equilibrium with the surrounding environment. First, we can use the RGB value of the sphere to roughly estimate its temperature. Then, if we treat the sphere as a black body radiator, we can use the Stefan-Boltzmann law to estimate the energy it radiates. To clarify some terms real quick, a black body radiator is an object where the spectrum or color only depends on the temperature. And the Stefan-Boltzmann law lets you find out how much power is being radiated from a black body if you know its temperature. Science! The lightsaber takes challenge number 3 with 64 megawatts of power output to a paltry 43 megawatts for the Elder Wand. So in a shocking upset to Potterheads everywhere, the Force wins the most challenges and is crowned the most powerful. Now obviously magic wins for sheer versatility. No one in Star Wars can conjure a magic stag or turn the relative into a pig. But maybe that's because the Jedi train all the fun out of you as a youngling? Oh well, the show is called Power Levels, not Versatility Levels, and the Force was just too strong today. And if you disagree, too bad. The data doesn't care about your feelings, but we care about you. Let us know who you'd like to see face off, and you could see it right here in the next episode of Power Levels.